is the third video in a series of using Google Sheets to track your portfolio. This one will be about using Google Sheets to make buy lists and track historic data. So I already went through building a portfolio in a previous video that has all the data inputted into Google Sheets and color-coded by itself. Now I'm going to build a price watch list that is color-coded or gives you a buy indication based on your target price. And I'll do a little bit more than this example that you can see of add in some historic data to help you maybe pick your target price. So I've pre-filled out 6 columns or 6 rows on a buy sheet, and I'm going to fill in price and get some year-to-date, roughly 3-year and 5-year returns, and we'll put in a target price, and we'll turn on, use an if statement to get a buy recommendation. So I'm going to start with just grabbing the current price. So equals turns on our formula, Google Finance. The Google Finance command comes up first, so I can just start typing Google and hit enter to grab that first command. I don't want to type in Tesla as my ticker. I want to go to column B4, comma, and I want to grab the price. Now you have to put the command in quotes or what I want. So we want the price. And then I can fill that down. I'm going to use an if statement just to keep the 4th, 5th, and 6th column blank because there's nothing there. So if B4 equals blank, so that's my if statement. So if B4 is blank, comma, if that's true, I want it to be blank, comma, if it's false, I want the Google Finance command to grab the price. I can fill that down, and I get the prices and blanks. Okay. Later I fill in Apple, and boom, it's going to auto-fill for me. This is going to be a bit more complicated. I'm going to get the year-to-date price all in one cell. So I went through this in the previous video, and we're sort of going to build it up piece by piece. We're going to grab the price and then use index to grab the cell from an array. So Google Finance, I want B4, I want the close. So we're going to do some historic data, comma, so B4 is the stock ticker, close, and then on a certain date. So the year, comma, month, comma, date is the format. So I want December, and you have to make sure you grab a trading day at the end of the month. So I always just guess the 31st, and if it doesn't work, I keep subtracting a day till I find the last day that the stock market was open. You can always look it up if you want. Okay, so that grabs the historic price, but it grabs some headings. So I want to just grab this price of 108. So this is where the index command will let me, so index, comma, my previous command, then I have to put a comma. I want second column, second row. Boom, so I've got that closing price, but I want to turn this into a percent. I could do this in another cell and reference it, but I'm going to make things a little more complicated and do the percent right in this cell. So I'm actually going to bracket this and then copy it because I'm going to need it in the denominator of the price difference, in the numerator for the price difference, and the denominator to divide by the price at the end of the year. I'm going to open a bracket. I want to go C4 minus the price at the end of the year. So that'll say how much the stock is up. Okay. And you can always hit, and I encourage you to hit enter and see if that's working. Yeah, so that's giving us the year-to-date dollar return. To turn that into a percentage, I have to divide by the price at the start of the year, which is why I copied this index, Google Finance close price at the end of the year. So this should give us the decimal for the year-to-date return. Perfect, so that's 0.76, so 76%. I'll throw in my usual if statement, C4 equals. If it's blank, display blank. If it's not, put in the percent. Perfect, so that's what I want. So we've got the year-to-date returns. I want to do the roughly 3 and 5 year. So I want to repeat this formula. I don't want to have to type this all out, but when I scroll or pull this to the right, I want the columns to stay the same. So I'm going to $sign all the letters so they don't change. I want to leave the numbers because as I scroll down, I do want those to change. So I think I got all my letters. I'll hit enter. Okay. Now I can scroll over and perfect. It's still working, but it's still got the same dates as I go over. So I just have to update these dates for roughly 3 and 5 years ago. So 3 years ago would be all of 2022, all of 2021, all of 2020. So I want the end of 2019. Okay. And this will be 3 years plus the current amount of this year. So it's not exactly 3 years. And you'd have to update this each year. Okay. So that's 3 years ago, then 5 would be a couple more years to be back to 17. Okay. And you will get an error if the stock wasn't traded or Google doesn't have data back that far. Now I'm getting an error here. Tesla traded, but this wasn't the last day of the year. I believe the 29th was. Perfect. So now things are working. So I can take all of those. Now I can fill down because I never $signed the numbers. So this should work. And perfect. Everything's auto-filling. Light speed is not filling in because it wasn't publicly traded back then. And I would just sort of delete cells for companies that don't trade back that far, particularly if you try to pull 10, 15, 20 years, that'll come up more and more often. Now I want to format these all as a %. Okay, and we've got all our information here. Okay. Now the big thing that we want to do, or the point of this video, is to color code based on a buy recommendation. Just going to grab these and give a few less decimal places. So I want to pick a target price, and then I'll have a color code show up here, or a word depending on whether I met the price. So maybe you want to buy Tesla if it's under 150, Apple anything under 160 you want to buy, Lightspeed maybe 21 if it falls that low, and Apple maybe anything under 160 you're happy to buy, and those will stay blank. So now I'm going to do some conditional formatting and an if statement. So I'm going to go equal if G4, and if that is greater than the current stock price, I'm going to want to buy now. Okay? And if not, I just want to have that cell stay blank. Okay? So the price is not, the target is not greater than the current price, so I don't want to buy now. It hasn't fallen below. This would have to get down to maybe 140, and then buy now would show up. So let's fill this down. And I got 2 buy nows are showing up. Apple is, we want to buy it at 160, and it's at 154, so we'd want to buy it. And well, that's Apple repeating. I'll get rid of that. You can always add things in. We still have the formulas in these blank cells, so maybe you want to buy Google. Anything below 110, and boom, the buy now shows up. You can add a little color here with some conditional formatting. So data conditional format. So if the H column is not empty, that's kind of defaulting to what I want. Maybe we want a yellow color. Perfect. So we're going to get the if statement will give us the buy now. The buy now will trigger the yellow to show up. Okay. So this can be quite handy. You could have a list of 20, 30, 100 stocks, and now's a great time to make a long buy now list. Maybe the economy goes into recession, maybe it takes off. Make a list of your favorite companies and just have it sit there. I find it's amazing. You'll like dream of wanting to buy Apple at 150, maybe at 125 you'd like to buy it, and you set up one of these, and maybe 6 months from now it'll hit that target and you'll just get this reminder. So hopefully this watch list is something that you might use in the future, and the if statements or the color coding can help you with tracking in your future investing buys.